The sun peeked through the dense canopy of the forest, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Melon, an 11-year-old girl with dirt-smudged cheeks and tangled hair, walked barefoot along the narrow path. Her stomach grumbled, a low rumble that echoed in the silence surrounding her. She clutched a small, battered bowl against her chest, her last hope for finding something to eat. "Just a little something," she murmured, glancing around the vibrant greenery. "Please." The villagers often told stories about this forest, how it was alive with magic and mystery. But to Melon, it was just a place where she might find a meal. She had learned to spot the small creatures that scuttled along the ground and buzzed in the air. The thought of insects made her stomach twist, but hunger gnawed at her more fiercely than any fear. With careful steps, she ventured deeper into the underbrush, her eyes scanning for movement. A flash of brown caught her attention, a cockroach, busy and determined. She knelt down, heart racing with hope. "Wow, look at you guys," she giggled, watching the tiny workers march in formation. "You're my little soldiers now." As she gathered the ants, she couldn't help but feel a strange sense of camaraderie with them. They were survivors, much like her. She filled her bowl, moving through the forest with a sense of purpose. Each tiny creature was a potential meal, a chance to stave off the gnawing hunger that plagued her. After a little while, she noticed a patch of leaves swaying. As she approached, she saw a cluster of crickets. Their chirps echoed, a lively soundtrack to her quest. "Dinner and a show," Melon exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with mischief. She collected them with deft fingers, adding to her bowl. With her catch secured, Melon searched for a suitable spot to cook. She found a clearing, the ground soft with moss and the air fragrant with the earthy scent of pine. Melon set her bowl down and began to gather sticks, her movements quick and practiced. "Now for the fire," she said to herself, kneeling and rubbing 2 sticks together, her brow furrowing in concentration. She remembered her mother's words, the way she used to start a fire in the small backyard of their tiny home, the warmth of the flames casting flickering shadows against the walls. "Just like that, come on," she whispered, her breath quickening as smoke began to rise. Finally, a spark flared to life. "Yes," she cheered, clapping her hands together. The fire crackled, a triumphant sound that filled her with joy. Melon placed a smooth stone over the flames and poured her bowl of insects onto it. As they began to sizzle, the aroma wafted through the air, surprisingly enticing. She sprinkled a pinch of salt she had saved, a precious treasure she'd found on her last foraging trip. "Gotta make it taste good," she said, leaning closer to watch the delicacies transform. "Almost done." "Just a few more moments," she encouraged, tapping her fingers against her knee. Once she deemed it ready, she picked up a makeshift twig and took a cautious bite. The flavors exploded in her mouth, salty, crunchy, and surprisingly delicious. "Mm." Melon moaned, her eyes widening in delight. "Who knew? I should open a restaurant." She laughed, the sound ringing out in the quiet forest. It felt good to laugh, to enjoy something so simple. The sun continued its descent, casting a warm glow around her as she savored each bite. "Thank you, God," she said, lifting her face to the sky. "For this meal. For this moment." As she finished, a rustling sound broke the calm. Melon turned, her heart racing. A pair of deer stepped into the clearing, their large eyes wide with curiosity. They paused, their ears perked up, and Melon held her breath, not wanting to scare them away. "Hey there," she whispered, feeling a kinship with the gentle creatures. "I'm just having lunch. You can stay." The deer seemed to understand, inching closer. One of them, a doe with a soft coat, dipped its head and nibbled at the grass nearby. Melon couldn't help but smile at their grace. "See? We're all just trying to survive," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. As the sun dipped lower, the forest began to glow in hues of orange and gold. The deer eventually wandered off, leaving Melon alone again with her thoughts. She leaned back against a tree, feeling full and content, but the reality of her situation washed over her like a cold wave. "I wish," she started, her voice trailing off. Her mind drifted to the empty house she called home, the silence that filled it. She wished for more than just survival, she wished for a life filled with laughter and love, a warm meal shared with family. "Maybe one day," Melon sighed, staring up at the sky. "Maybe one day, I won't have to do this alone." But for now, she had this moment. She closed her eyes and listened to the sounds of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the fading echoes of her laughter. With the last light of day slipping away, Melon gathered her things, feeling the weight of her bowl in her hands. She would return to her home, not empty-handed this time. "Tomorrow, I'll come back," she promised to the trees, her heart swelling with hope. "Tomorrow, I'll find more." As she made her way back through the forest, the shadows deepened around her. Melon felt a sense of peace, a connection to the world around her. Each step felt lighter, each breath filled with possibility. The forest was more than just a place to forage, it was a sanctuary, a space where she could dream and escape the harshness of her reality. And as she stepped out of the trees and back into the fading light of the village, she held on to that dream tightly, like a secret she would never let go. And as usual, thank you everyone for watching and everything you do to encourage this channel. Hit the subscribe button and share the video to your friends. Thank you again and see you next.